Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I'm Sally and this is Secret Life of a Seamstress. I hope you're all really well and you're having a good day. So in today's video I've teamed up again with Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room. So Becky and I have worked together on a couple of videos in the past and it's been really fun. So we thought we'd get together and do another video, and we were thinking for a while of what we could do. And then Tilly and the Buttons released their latest sewing pattern, the Lyra dress, and we both loved it, and we decided that we would make our own versions of the pattern and not tell each other what we were going to be making, and then we would kind of review the pattern and reveal our dresses in a video. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you all about how I found the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress pattern and showing you my finished dress, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Becky's finished Lyra dress too. So if you are new to my channel is all about sewing with a little bit of knitting and other crafting thrown in, but mainly sewing. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you do enjoy this video, I'd love it if you could give it a big like at the end. Just to let you know, as always, what I'm wearing another Tilly and the Buttons pattern, which is the Agnes t-shirt. So this is a well-loved pattern of mine. I've made quite a few versions of it, and this is just a kind of grey, mottled grey version in a cotton jersey, just with the straight sleeves. I haven't gone for the puffy sleeves for this one. It's a really hot day here today in England, or it's hot for us anyway. It's around 28 degrees. I'm filming this video in the morning because I thought that would be cooler, but I'm already kind of feeling a bit hot and sweaty. So if you haven't already seen the Lyra dress pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, I'm sure you probably have, but if you haven't, I'll show you anyway. So this is the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress. So you can see that it's a kind of traditional shirt dress bodice with a lovely kind of buffet dress style skirt. And it does come in a couple of other versions, but this is kind of the main version, I guess. It's the version they've chosen to put on the front of their pattern envelope anyway. And it's described as a romantic shirt dress, which I think is a really good description for this pattern, because you've kind of got the kind of formality of the shirt dress in the top, and then you've got the kind of romantic style floaty tiered gathered skirt at the bottom, and I think that's such a lovely combination. So when Tilly and the Buttons released this pattern, I knew straight away that I wanted to make up my own version of this. I really like it. So before I talk any more about my version of this dress, I'll just hand over to Becky so that she can just introduce herself and talk a little bit about what she's made.
Hi everyone, my name's Becky and I'm really pleased to be joining Sally here on her channel today. Both of us have been chatting about the Lyra ever since it was released, and we were both really excited about trying a couple of different versions of the dress and seeing how they worked out. So we decided to come together to do this collaboration vlog, and I really can't wait to see Sally's finished dress. We've not really chatted too much about the fabrics we're using for our dress or the exact kind of versions we're going for. I know that I've gone for the short sleeve version and Sally's gone for something slightly different. I think she's gone for a different length, I'm not sure, but I'm really looking forward to seeing her finished dress and seeing her vlog as well. When you finish watching Sally's video today, it would be amazing if you could pop over to my channel, Notes from the Sewing Room, and hear all about my Lyra creation as well. So I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks Becky, I can't wait to see your finished dress and hear all about how you found the pattern too. A little bit more detail about this pattern. If I just hold up the back of the pattern envelope there, you can see that there are a couple of other versions that you can make of this dress. You can make the same kind of gathered skirt midi dress with a short sleeve, or you can make a short sleeve version of the dress with just a kind of single gathered skirt at the bottom, which is also really lovely. So for my version this time, I've gone for the short sleeve version with the kind of double tiered skirt at the bottom, and I have done mine with a belt as well. But the good thing about the belt is that it is detachable, so you can just take it off and have it loose and floaty if you'd rather do that. So about the pattern, it comes in Tilly and the Buttons sizes 1 to a size 10. So a Tilly and the Buttons size 1 is a UK size 6, and a Tilly and the Buttons 10 is a UK 24. The pattern requirements, you do need around 3 to almost 4 meters of fabric for the kind of midi style dress, especially if you're using long sleeves. For the short sleeved and short dress, you need around 2.7 meters up to around 3.3 meters depending on the width of your fabric. In terms of skill level for this pattern, it's described as for improvers. So I've been sewing for quite a long while now, and I've never made a stand-up collar before. So despite being a little bit nervous about trying this pattern because of that, I thought it would be a really good way to kind of try something new and add another skill to my belt. And I love Tilly patterns. They're always really clear and easy to follow, so I thought it'd be a good one to try for my first collar on a collar stand. So in terms of cutting out the pattern, I decided to go straight in and cut my pattern pieces straight from the pattern pages. I decided that I wasn't going to make this dress for anyone else. I was quite confident that a size 2 would be okay for me because there's quite a lot of room in the dress and I didn't think I'd need to make too many kind of alterations or anything. So yeah, I cut a straight size 2 from all of my pattern pieces. I didn't bother to trace or anything like that. So I'm just going to hold the dress up and show you a couple of the details of this, and then I'm going to put it on in a minute just so that you can kind of see how it looks on as well. In terms of cutting out the fabric, I did think that cutting out this dress was going to take me ages, and it cut out surprisingly quickly. I think the most difficult part about cutting out is cutting out the collar pieces here, because you need to cut one of the collar pieces kind of on the straight grain, and then you cut the under collar, I think it is, on the fold and on the bias, and it did take me a little while to work out how to do that. But basically you just fold your fabric on the bias and then cut out your collar piece on the fold as you would normally. In terms of interfacing, I always find it a little bit of a fiddly faff to cut out viscose and interfacing and get them to fit properly. So what I'm doing now is actually kind of block fusing my fabric onto a piece of interfacing before I cut out my interfaced piece, and I find that that works much better. Otherwise, I don't know if anyone else finds this, but because viscose and rayon moves around so much, sometimes when you cut your viscose piece, it will not properly fit with your kind of interfacing piece. So yeah, I find it much easier to kind of fuse a piece of fabric onto a piece of interfacing and then cut out my interfaced piece from that. I hope that makes sense. What I would say about my interfacing is that I didn't specifically buy any interfacing to go with this fabric. I just used what I already had in my cupboard. And what I had was either really thin interfacing or really stiff. So I think the interfacing I've used this time is a little bit kind of stiff and a bit papery. It could have been a bit softer, I think, but for this version it's fine, and it's definitely helped with getting my collar to stand up nicely. But it does feel a little bit kind of papery and stiff to the touch. So next time, I think if I use a viscose again to make this dress, I'll just get some better interfacing just so that it feels a bit nicer. So I've used a Dashwood rayon fabric for my dress, and I was really lucky to be able to pick this up in the John Lewis sale for around £5 a metre. So I bought 3 metres of this, which cost me around £15, which I thought was really good. And yeah, it was really, really lovely to work with. And I found this fabric really lovely to cut out actually. It wasn't too slippery as viscoses go. It was really kind of nice and easy to cut out. So I found this pattern so lovely to follow. As always with Tilly patterns, they're just so well written and they have pictures in so that you can always see what you're doing. I find her really detailed, and she really does kind of hold your hand through all the difficult parts. So although I was nervous about putting together my collar piece and my collar stand and everything, it did come together really nicely actually, and I did really take my time, and I made sure that I did all my stay stitching and everything. Definitely don't skip your stay stitching around the neckline or anything like that, because it's very easy for collar pieces to stretch out or necklines to stretch out so that your collar piece doesn't quite match up to your neckline piece. But I found that mine actually came together really nicely, and I tried not to kind of stretch anything out too much when I was working with the fabric. I really actually enjoyed putting together my collar piece despite my nerves about it. It was really kind of therapeutic to do, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm really pleased with how my first ever collar on a collar stand has turned out. I mean, it could be a little bit neater around here perhaps, but that's me being very picky with myself, as I always am. Something I really like about this pattern actually is that Tilly gets you to finish the whole bodice, including the buttonholes and the buttons and everything, before you attach the skirt. So you feel as though you've achieved quite a lot when you've just finished the bodice, and at the end of it you've already kind of done all your buttons and your buttonholes and everything. And you don't have to kind of faff around doing that when you've done all of the rest of the dress. And it was much easier to get my buttonholes in and sew the buttons on and everything before I'd attached this huge skirt, because can you imagine kind of trying to manoeuvre that around the sewing machine to do your buttonholes? So that was really nice, I think, and something that I don't think is normally asked of you in a pattern. So I'm just going to go and pop the dress on so that you can see what it looks like on. So here I am in the dress. Hopefully you can see a little bit better what the dress looks like on, and I do have it buttoned up right to the top at the moment, which I'll probably never ever do normally because I feel a bit choked if anything's too tight around my neck. So you can see that it really does button up right to the very top of the collar, and one of the buttonholes is just done, is that vertically or horizontally? Vertically. Anyway, it's done the other way to the rest of the buttonholes as it would be done on a normal traditional shirt, which was really nice to try. So I've just undone 2 of the buttons now and that feels much better. So you can see that I've finished my bodice just with these little pink flower buttons, which I thought were really cute. I kind of picked out the pink in the leaves on the fabric as well. So I was really pleased that I managed to find those in my button tin. So just to talk about the skirt of this dress. So I went for the double tiered skirt, as I say, and this time I decided not to do pockets. I feel like sometimes when you include pockets in a viscose skirt, it kind of ruins the silhouette of the dress, and sometimes they can stick out a little bit or they can kind of show through. So I decided to leave off the pockets this time. Shock horror, I know, because everyone loves pockets and I do too, but I just feel like sometimes they do kind of interfere with the line of the dress. So yeah, I left them out this time. Because this was the first time I'd made this pattern, I just made the skirt tiers as they were sized in the pattern pieces. And when I finished this dress and I tried it on, the dress came right to the floor. So it wasn't midi length on me at all, it was proper maxi length. So I'm 5'3". I'm not sure what the pattern is draft for actually, but yeah, if you're around my height or smaller, you might want to think about shortening the tiers of your skirt before you start if you don't want your dress to turn out as a maxi dress. I did consider for a little while leaving it that way because I did quite like it as a maxi dress, but I really wanted to kind of stick with the with what the pattern should have been, and I wanted to keep it as a midi dress. So I think in the end I took around 10 centimetres off of the bottom tier of my skirt. So my skirt of my dress has actually turned out more to be kind of a frill at the bottom rather than 2 tiers, which is a shame, but I don't really mind this time because you can't actually tell because this print is so busy. But I think next time I make the dress, because there definitely will be a next time, I'm gonna kind of play around with the lengths of the tiers so that I still get that midi length, but I get that kind of more equally sized feel to the tiers of the skirt, if that makes sense. So just something to note if you are on the shorter side like me. And it's just a case of shortening the pattern pieces next time, so that's okay. Oh, I'll just show you my belt as well actually. You can see that I've kind of belted in my dress here, so I've made the belt piece as well here, and so the pattern does actually give you instructions on how to make belt loops, but a really good kind of tip is to use a black hair elastic and just cut it in half and thread it through your dress, and that makes a kind of really simple elasticated belt loop. So buy a load of black hair elastics or something like neutral that will go with a lot of your patterns, and they're really good for using as belt loops for your dresses, and they just need threading through and knotting on the inside, and you have yourself a belt loop. I really like making belt loops when I'm in the mood, but because there's quite a lot of hand stitching in there, they do take quite a lot of time, so you yeah, they're not always something that you feel like doing. So overall, you can probably tell that I absolutely love this pattern. I really enjoyed making it. It was such a lovely make. It was kind of something that made you think, but it wasn't too difficult. I found it really kind of mindful putting together the collar. I really love how the button band and everything is put in. It's quite kind of easy to follow, and it was just a really nice make. So I'll definitely be making another version of this dress. I think this is a very kind of hackable pattern. I feel like there's so much you could do with this pattern. You could change quite a lot about it. You could definitely play around with the skirt pieces. So you could have a really long, say, maxi length dress, and you could just use the single skirt piece and lengthen it down to be a maxi dress. And likewise, you could make the tiered version shorter so that you had a shorter kind of buffet style dress, and that would be really nice as well. You could also kind of play around with the sleeves. You could take out the sleeves completely, or you could make them 3/4 length, or you could make them more puffy and elasticate them. So many ideas for how I could try other things with this pattern. So I'm really looking forward to making another version of this. I definitely recommend this pattern if, like me, you've never made a proper shirt before and you want something that will kind of stretch you a little bit. I think it's a really good place to start if you're just looking to kind of expand your skills and try something new. So that's everything I have to say really, I think, about this Lyra dress. I absolutely love the pattern. I really enjoyed making it, and yeah, I definitely highly recommend the pattern. Do let me know in the comments below if you've tried the Lyra dress, and let me know what you thought about it. Let me know which version you made, and let me know how you got on with it. I'd really love to know. Don't forget to go over and watch Becky's video after you've watched mine and see how she got on with the pattern and see how her dress turned out. I'm really looking forward to seeing Becky's finished version of her dress too. So I think that's all from me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and please do give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in my next video. Bye!